Hey everyone, so you finally saved up for a decent telescope, set it up in the backyard, and after the first 10 minutes of fumbling with focus and alignment, you realize the mirror inside is shifting every time you touch the focuser. It's like trying to take a photo with a camera that keeps refocusing itself, super frustrating, right? Well, the Celestron CGEM II 925 EdgeHD with its mirror clutches is basically the lock your lens in place button for telescopes. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've been in that situation before, and it's really annoying when you're trying to observe or image something, and your telescope just can't seem to stay focused. But with the EdgeHD, those days are behind you. What I like most about this scope is how rock solid the view stays once you've got it dialed in. Those mirror clutches are little tension bands that hold the primary mirror exactly where it needs to be, so when you nudge the focuser, the mirror doesn't creep forward or back like it does on cheaper scopes. I was showing Jupiter last week to my buddy, and he kept tapping the focuser to fine-tune the view. On my old scope, the image would drift for a good 5 seconds after every tap, but with the EdgeHD, it locked right back into place. That alone saved us 20 minutes of recentering and refocusing. It's those little things that make a big difference when you're trying to enjoy the night sky. And it's not just about the time saving, it's also about the overall experience. When your telescope is stable and reliable, you can focus on the actual observation, rather than fighting with the instrument. The EdgeHD optics themselves are another game saver if you're into planetary or lunar imaging. The built-in corrector flattens the field, so stars look pinpoint right to the edge of the sensor, which means you don't have to crop half your frame later. This is especially important if you're using a DSLR or a dedicated astro camera, as you want to make the most of your sensor real estate. I've shot the moon with a DSLR and a 2x Barlow, and the craters at the edge of the frame are still tack-sharp, no coma, no field curvature. If you're just eyeballing planets, it's overkill, but if you ever want to try stacking frames for a high-res mosaic, the optics make the whole process way easier. I've also experimented with lunar imaging, and the results are stunning. The EdgeHD's optics allow for incredible detail and contrast, making it possible to capture the subtle nuances of the lunar surface. And because the field is so flat, you can use the full frame of your camera without worrying about distortion or vignetting. This is a huge advantage over other telescopes, which often require expensive additional correctors or reducers to achieve similar results. Mount-wise, the CGEM II is a real workhorse. It's got the same belt drive system as the CGX, so once you polar align and do a quick star alignment, the tracking is smooth enough for 60-second subs at 2000mm focal length without guiding. I've run it unguided for 90-second exposures on Andromeda, and the stars stayed round, something I couldn't pull off with my old HEQ5. The dual fork arms also mean you can flip the tube without it hitting the tripod, which is handy when you're chasing objects across the meridian. One of the things I appreciate about the CGEM II is its versatility. Whether you're observing visually or imaging, the mount is capable of handling a wide range of tasks. And with its built-in autoguider port, you can easily add a guide camera and take your imaging to the next level. I've used it with a separate guide scope and camera, and the results are impressive. The mount's ability to track smoothly and accurately makes it ideal for long exposure imaging, and the autoguider port makes it easy to set up and use. Collimation is another area where this scope shines. The primary mirror has 3 push-pull knobs and a locking thumbscrew, so you can tweak it in the field without the whole thing shifting. I've collimated this thing in the dark with a laser and then immediately swapped eyepieces without losing focus, something I'd never risk on my old Newtonian because the mirror flopped around. This is a huge advantage, especially if you're imaging in the field and don't have access to a workshop or other specialized equipment. If you're into deep sky, the EdgeHD's native f/10 focal ratio gives you a nice balance between focal length and exposure time. In conclusion, if you're tired of your mirror shifting every time you touch the focuser and you want a scope that tracks smoothly enough for short unguided exposures, the Celestron CGEM II 925 EdgeHD is worth the investment. The mirror clutches alone make it feel like a completely different class of instrument compared to cheaper scopes. With its rock-solid optics, smooth tracking, and ease of use, this telescope is a great choice for anyone looking to take their astronomy to the next level. Check the link below if you want to see the current price and specs.